and for his blessings. He has now come in our midst. He's with us. We don't see him as a spook. Right. He's no spook. He's a live man. He's a living God. I'm sorry that I have not asked you to sit down. You look so beautiful, and I don't want you to sit down.
And a guest, and maybe he could help me to convey a message to you. He's my friend. I like him a lot, and I'm going to tell you why I brought him in and why I think he's important to the future of you learning about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And his name is Yosef bin Asiel Israel. Salam alaikum.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom righteous and holy praise is forever due, we thank that great God for his coming to the wilderness of North America to raise up amongst us the first begotten from the dead. That special soul, I speak none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. In those holy and righteous names, I greet you in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. We'll be right back after these quick commercials. Looking for something that feels good, looks great, and stands the test of time? Well, we have it for you. Black Royalty is our athleisure line that is made from the finest bamboo and cotton blend. We have designed high quality tracksuit and t-shirts in multiple colors that provide you the most comfort when you need it most. Whether you're in the gym or running errands or just lounging around with loved ones, you need to be in the best quality clothing as possible. We have constructed a high quality clothing line that does not break the bank, and we beat out all of our competitors on price. So please, if you're interested in being comfortable, not just in the gym, but when you're running around and doing errands, please visit blackroyaltywear.com. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Black Royalty. And if you have any questions or comments about our brand and how you can help participate, you can find us at blackroyaltywear@gmail.com. We'll be quick to answer your questions, and with our responses, we will be very thorough. So also, like I said, Black Royalty is for you because it was made by you with the intentions of serving you. So leave all those other clothing lines behind and get on what makes sense, something that's going to stand the test of time, because black don't crack. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back again, my brothers and sisters, to another installment of Know Thyself Radio Show, where we make it our business, our duty, our responsibility to give you nothing but the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and thanking that great and wonderful messenger of a God. I must thank the God that raised him up, the one who took him from naught and brought him and exalted him to the premier person on this planet, teacher, leader, and example. Outside of God himself, he is second because he's the messenger of God. So I thank the Master Fard Muhammad, who is Allah in person, for coming all the way from the east to the west to reveal himself to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad so that he can raise up the lost, the dead, the despised, the original black man and woman, the cream of the planet Earth, you and I. So I'm eternally grateful for the messenger and the God that raised him up. And it's always, my brothers and sisters, an honor, a privilege to bear witness to their greatness, to bear witness to the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But as I said before, I get the beautiful opportunity to bring in a guest. And I would be remiss if I don't thank my guest from last week, Sister Noura Muhammad, our beautiful, intelligent, wonderful sister from Camden, New Jersey, Temple number 20, who gave such a profound, articulate conversation and shows you that we're not sexist in the Nation of Islam, or those who believe that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings is right and exact. We exalt the woman just like we do the man, because we know, so teaches the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that no nation can rise above their woman. But today I have a brother, not just any brother, a strong brother, fruit of Islam, under the guidance and leadership of Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. This brother is a brother who was classified for a number of years as a crook, as a criminal, as a detriment to society. But like so many of our brothers and sisters who are wrongfully accused, wrongfully convicted, wrongfully imprisoned, because we know that is the motive of this insidious system, is to keep the black man and woman down, to keep them deaf, dumb, and blind, keep them in servitude and slavery, mentally, spiritually, and definitely physically. But this brother right here is a brother who overcame his circumstances under the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who was able to not just overturn his wrongful conviction, but come out into the world and start to enlighten and empower all of his brothers and sisters that were left behind bars that the world have forgotten about. So it is an honor, it is a pleasure to introduce to you my brother, my friend, my companion in this work, Brother Lionel Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. I'm so delighted that you are taking this opportunity, brother, to have me on your show. And it's an honor and a privilege. And I thank Allah for you, brother. I thank Allah for this opportunity, because this is an opportunity that we don't get often to share with the people, that which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has given us. So I'm very thankful for being here.
Oh, brother, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And if you don't mind, brother, before we get into the depthness of what I wanted to bring you on to talk about, so I think that you can really educate my listening audience, tell them why I'm so happy to have you on, and just give them a brief history on who, brother, you are and why you're so important, and why we all love you. Anybody who ever came in contact with you just fall in love with this brother, because he's just such a great brother.
Well, brother, I thank you. I thank Allah for you. But I spent 23 years in prison, brother. 23 years, 6 months, 14 days for a crime that I didn't commit. And for those that don't understand, this American, they call justice system or just us system, they put me in prison for a crime that I didn't commit. And to this very day, I am still fighting a system that unjustly locked me up for a crime that I didn't commit, trying to get paid for the time that I spent while I was incarcerated. But during that time of incarceration, I had a pleasure and an opportunity to sit down and get reconnected with myself first. And that's when I was exposed to that which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching, that brought me into a greater understanding of Know Thyself. That's why this program, Know Thyself, is so beautiful, brother, because had I not went through prison, had I not been in that circumstance or that condition, I may not be who I am or what I am today as a result of being in prison. So I thank Allah for that experience, and I thank the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for what he has given us, and I thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for being one bold enough and strong enough to stand up and make us aware of the value of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in our lives today. So I'm really honored, brother, because it's so important that people understand that there are a host of 6 million people that are incarcerated. 65 to 80% of those that are incarcerated are incarcerated and wrongly convicted for crimes they didn't even commit. So you got a large percentage of those that are in prison for crimes that they didn't even commit. And the society has already labeled them villains and criminals, and you name it, they put a label on them. But I think a lot for that experience, because like Jonah in the belly of the whale, I ran from my mission in society, but Allah prepared me in prison and put me on an assignment and a mission. And that mission is to serve those that are formerly incarcerated and those that are coming home.
I think that was beautifully said, brother. And again, we're talking to our brother, our friend, Brother Lionel Muhammad. Brother, if you may, and you're so greater than your circumstance, but I want to start at the outset because, again, for my listening audience, I think they're going to be able to draw parallels in their own life. And they can use your life, brother, as an example, as a testimony on you don't have to be a victim of circumstance. You don't have to be a victim of your environment. You can overcome those things with knowledge of self. So, brother, if you can start us at the beginning, what was your mentality when you were first incarcerated?
Well, when I first was incarcerated, first of all, I was angry. I was bitter because I always had a great respect for the law, or for what is called the system. And I could never understand how you could lock a man up for a crime that you know he didn't commit. I ain't talking about you think he didn't commit. You know he didn't commit, and you locked him up because he didn't have money. So I was very bitter, man. I was very angry for about, I want to say maybe about 6 or 7 months. You know, I didn't want to really talk to nobody in the prison or anything like that. But I'm going to show you how Allah works. Under the circumstances of being in prison, that first 6 months was very critical because in that sense of bitterness, Allah revealed to me what I should be doing. A brother came to me. This brother's name is Kevin. His name is Kevin Blackstone. And he came to me and he said, "Salam alaikum, brother." And I didn't know what Salam alaikum mean. I heard it because I heard it from my dad and my uncle. But I had no real understanding of what it means. So I said, "Yeah, what's up?" So he said, "Man, brother, you sitting in the cell, man, and you looking all down and stuff." He said, "I got something, man, for you to listen to. Would you listen to it?" So I said, "Man, I said, right about now, I listen to anything, man, because I'm about ready to kill something, man, for real, because these people, man, that just did what they want to do to me because I didn't have no money." And I heard a tape, and this was in 1978. And on this tape, Minister Farrakhan said these words. He said, "How can you say that you believe in a God that you've never seen and believe not in yourself who you see every day?" Those words stuck with me. Out of everything else he said on the tape, when he said those words, it was like somebody had turned on the light in my head. And I asked myself, I said, "Man, how do you believe in a God you ain't never seen? But you look at yourself every day in the mirror. You every day you wake up, you look at yourself, but you don't believe in yourself. You think less of yourself. You feel less of yourself. So how are you praying to a God that you ain't never seen and don't even pray to your own self?" So that sense of bitterness at that moment turned into a sense of hope. So I after I listened to the tape, I asked the brother for some more. And the brother said, he said, well, I don't have a lot of them, but I got a couple of them that I can share with you. He said, but I got some paper you can read. And he gave me a old Muhammad speech, a newspaper. And I started to read that paper. And that paper electrified the Spirit of God in me to want to change my life. So I started requesting from those that loved me, my family and friends. I started to ask them for information that I could learn, that I could study, that I could grow, and just get to know myself. And I am so thankful, man, because that beginning process for me was very difficult. But it was the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that electrified my mind through the minister, that caused me to think about myself. Not nobody else at that time, but me.
Brother.
And my relationship to God.
Once again, we talking to Brother Lionel Muhammad. And the reason, brother, that I asked that question is because I wanted to show the audience that though you were incarcerated, it wasn't because you was a criminal. It wasn't due to the fact that you was a malcontent or a menace to society, that you were out doing illegal things. Just for the sheer fact it shows how many of our people who are wrongfully and unjustly labeled are put in circumstances that destroy their lives. And in a lot of cases, put them in such reprehensible situations that they end up becoming the very thing that they were fighting not to be. They end up becoming criminals. They end up becoming menace to society due to the fact that you take away every aspect of their livelihood or the normacy thereof, and you put them in a circumstance where they're not able to vote anymore. They're not able to work certain jobs due to their record. They're not able to just be a fair participant in society. And we're not talking about the psychological damage, the emotional damage that has happened in prison, and a lot of the physical damage. But like go ahead, brother.
But you know what impressed me was this. You know, people, they were talking about gangs. I grew up among gangs all my life, or what they call street gangs. But when I got in prison, the brothers that they were calling gang members, I didn't see gang activity. I seen these brothers who were constructive and productive. So when the brothers started to share material with me, I started to engage with brothers who I knew from the street who were members of organizations and stuff like that. And because I was not a dumb person, that I was an educated person, and I had graduated from high school, I started to engage with them so we could help. We could set up, we were actually setting up study groups where we taught GED and sales. So we were teaching GED programs to guys who will claim to be gang leaders and gang members and stuff like this. So that participation in my personal growth and development became very critical, because now I'm looking at the environment and I'm not seeing what I'm hearing. Like you just said, I'm not seeing, man, that's a gang banger, and this guy is did this and did that. I'm not seeing this. I'm seeing men and women, men who are actually reaching out, who have become victims of the same thing that I thought was a good system, I became a victim of as well. So when I seen that, I just became actively involved in helping and serving brothers. But the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad transformed my life to such a degree that not only did I become a positive and productive inmate, but I became a servant to other inmates while incarcerated. So I became a pillar of the community in which I was involved in, the prison. I was there. So we started not only study groups and studying and teaching them the GED and stuff like that, but we started studying and trying to live the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. At the same time, you had brothers who were following Imam Ward D. Muhammad. I didn't really understand that, but I couldn't allow them to pull me away from what I was learning. So I couldn't be a part of that and this. So I stood on what I knew was good for me, and that was the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as taught by the Honorable Master Louis Farrakhan. That was good for me. It was working for me. I don't know what everybody else thought was working for them, but that wouldn't work for me. So I never embraced that.
So,
which I seen it, they tried. Go ahead.
Let me ask, no, brother. I don't want to break up, but I just want to give context. 2 questions. First, again, like brother said, he came into the situation mad because he had such a belief or faith in the so-called judicial system, the law system that is imposed on us as black people, and he's seen the injustice in it, and it made him bitter, it made him mad. So you said about 6 months is when you were introduced to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that started the transformation period. At what point during that time did you accept it right away, or was it a period where you were still on the fence about or apprehensive? Or once you heard it, you took to it like a fish in water? You went right at it? Or did it take some time?
Well, with me, because I was the type of person that I was always searching for knowledge. Ever since I was 5 years old. So when I heard it, I automatically gravitated towards it. It was like, man, I said, this is what I need. This is what I've been looking for. And the strength that the minister had, I gotta use the words that I used when I was talking to the brother. I said, that's a bad nigga there, man. And the brother he said, man, that's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I said, man, I can follow a guy like that, because he got the kind of spirit that I've always had as a little boy in the street, a stand-up kind of person. So I automatically gravitated towards the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, it didn't take me years and years and years. I automatically, because it was turning on lights in my life. It was turning on things that was already in me that I didn't know was in me, but they were buried in me. And the moment I was hearing certain things, it was resurrecting these things in me, bringing it up out of me. Oh man, I like that. Man, I can really get with that. Every time I heard something, it sparked something new in me that electrified my life. And when I say change me, man, it changed me instantly. I ain't talking about no 10, 12 years. It changed me instantly. Some people in the prison thought I had went crazy because I was walking around the yard with my shirt buttoned up to the neck. And the only book, I didn't even have a book then. I just had a Final Call News, and I was just talking about what this man. I had a Muhammad speech even before I got the Final Call News, and I said I was just talking about what this man Elijah said. That's all I knew was what he was saying in that page.
And that was my next question, brother. How was the response from the other inmates as well as even the officers in there? Because I'm pretty sure they seen the difference, and as they start to see you waking up, they start to see you being more enlightened, what was their response? Because I know as a product you had already made mention to it, that you started to do revolutionary things within inside the jail system by educating GED programs and all the number of other things that was bringing up the mentality of the people using the teaching. So what was the response from the other inmates as well as the officers that was inside?
Well, the inmates were very receptive. And not only were they very receptive, but they were very protective, because the guys who had a level of respect for me, who were organizational leaders, was telling them to watch me, protect me. I didn't know that they were telling them this. I didn't find this out until later, but I would wonder why different brothers were standing around when I would be talking. And I'm like, man, why are these guys standing around me? So I asked this guy, I said, brother, why are you always standing around when I'm talking? He say, Chief, say, don't let nothing happen to you. And I was like, wow. So right there showed me not only a level of respect, but a level of acceptance of what I was giving them that was given to me by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And they fell so in love with what I was giving them that they had a level of respect to the point where, man, don't let nothing happen to that brother. Why? Because he a member of the Nation of Islam. Now, mind you, I hadn't even registered in the Nation of Islam, and this was 1978, 1979, 79, 1980. So when I registered or declared myself a member of the Nation of Islam, if you look at my ID, I became a registered member in 1985 under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But then I became committed. I said, man, I'm going to commit myself to this, because I kept reading in the Bible about Jonah. Jonah kept running. Jonah kept doing what he wanted to do. But I already knew the Bible. I already had a strong understanding of the Bible, because I was an ordained minister even before I went to jail under Reverend Clay Evans. So that understanding or that knowledge of the Bible was already with me. I was in the church ever since I was 5, 6 years old. Started preaching, I guess, when I was about 8 or 9. So that sense of knowing the Bible and reading the Bible and studying the Bible. I grew up in the church. I was in the church choir. I was on all different kinds of boards. So I had a certain knowledge of the scripture that Allah fortified, because I kept reading that story about Jonah running from his mission, going to Nineveh. And Allah kept revealing to me, man, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to prepare you. So every time I went to the parole board, they would deny me parole. And I couldn't figure why. Man, every time I go to parole board, they deny me every year. After I had did 11 years and 10 months, I would go to the parole board. So once I took Allah's word and Allah's guidance and went to the parole board and told the parole board, I said, this parole board is an instrument to purify my faith. When Allah, God is through with me in this environment, He's going to let me go whether y'all like it or whether y'all dislike it. And 30 days later, I was granted parole in 2001 and sent home.
Brother, I'm over here. I have to put the microphone on mute because I'm over here so ecstatic about your story, and how, as I hear you speak, I hear how you was formed and fashioned for what you're doing now. Almighty God, Allah, had prepared you for this great responsibility that you have taken on, to be a student and a follower of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad under the leadership and guidance of the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, to be a soldier that has faced so much adversity trials and tribulations, but not let that be your determining factor. But you, like you said, leaning on the will of Allah to overcome your circumstances, to show them and everyone else that your God is God. So, brother, again, I'm just so happy. And that was the next question. Tell us about when you finally was released. You was on parole. What year was it? And what was the first thing that you felt now being free into the world? What did you have to do?
Well, the first thing that I did, brother, the first day I got out April the 7th. No, April the 6th. Was 2001, which was my holiday was the 7th, which fell on a Saturday. So they released me that Friday, which was the 6th of 2001. That Sunday, brother, I went to the mosque because it was so important to me to come to the mosque and show up and let brothers know that I done did all that time. Man, I come to help and whatever I need to do. So in the process, when I got to the mosque, man, they welcomed me with open arms. And I talked to the National Prison Reform Minister, who is Minister Abdullah. And he said, well, brother, man, we're going to go in the office. Me and him had a meeting that Sunday. And then I told him, well, I'm going to come back. I went back. So when I went back and talked to him, I explained to him the situation. I'm on parole. So when my parole officer came to see me, I gave my parole officer a schedule. I said, this is what I'm going to be doing every day. And the parole officer looked at me. He said, what is this? I said, this is my schedule. He said, no, you don't give us a schedule. We give you a schedule. I said, well, this is what I'm going to be doing every day. Whatever schedule you come up with, this is what I'm going to be doing every day. Working in the name of Allah in Muhammad's Mosque, number 2, National Headquarters. That's what I'm going to be doing every day. Not every now and then, every day. That's where so you know where I'm at. The phone number is there, everything. So the parole agent said to me, he said, that blew me away, brother. You're the only prisoner that has ever came out and gave us a schedule of what you doing. I said, that's because Allah has already prepared me. So I became the assistant to Minister Farrakhan's National Prison Reform Minister, Minister Abdullah, who is our National Prison Reform Minister, and have worked beside him many, many years in the prison ministry serving those that are incarcerated. But let me share this with you. Minister Abdullah sat me down one day and he said, brother, I need you to work your skills like you did in that prison. Because every prison that I was in, I set up a study group. Every prison I was in, I set up a study group. Those study groups are in existence today as a result of the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In every prison I've been in, brothers will tell you, Brother Lionel is the one responsible for setting up these study groups. So Brother Abdullah asked me, he said, go on and work your skills, brother. So I went to work. I got in contact with the Adult Transitional Center. I did not set up no appointments. I got in my little vehicle that I was driving, which was my sister's car. And I went to these places, I met with the people, and I gave them my history, and I said, this is what we want to do. We want to service the men here. So they were all for it. Man, listen, come on board. You can come out here each week. And as a result, we were going to the various adult transitional centers in the state of Illinois and teaching the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So Minister Abdullah put me on a very important assignment. Then the minister came to Crow one day, and he spoke, and he took a picture with me, and the minister said, he said, brother, don't ever stop doing what you're doing. So now I communicate with almost 1,500 brothers and sisters throughout the country that are incarcerated in prison. I have a large mailing list. This mailing list allows me to contact these brothers, and what I do is I provide them with material of the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I send them books and magazines and final call newspapers and study guides and whatever else I get access to. I send it to them that keep them informed and to keep their families informed. And a lot of their family members will call me and contact me as well. I go to various prisons throughout the country teaching that which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has given me through the Honorable Master Louis Farrakhan. So I've been home. April the 6th will be 20 years I've been home. Ever since day one I came home, I have never stopped working, not one single day since I came home. I'm always out serving the people with the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You'll never find me sitting around just lollygagging. You don't find me around socializing unless we doing the work. I don't have time to socialize. This work is important, and until we have an idea or a process in our mind that we got to work to save our people, it will never get done. See, we got too much social time and not enough work time. We work for white people, but we don't work for God. See, I'm indebted to Almighty God Allah through that which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has given us. So I'm paying my debt back by doing the work every day. Not every now and then, every single day. You will find no one brother tell you, man, Brother Lionel, every time I see him, he ain't doing that. And you never see me without a suit and a bow tie on. Every time you see me, I got on a suit and a bow tie because I'm working.
Man, brother, Allah is God, and all I can say is Allahu Akbar. Hearing your story again, brother, like you said, you came out hitting the ground running. Was it sitting on your heels? Was it content? Well, I'm free now. I guess I'll go back to whatever I was doing before I got in here. No, you had a mission that was given to you, and you seen it all the way through. And I have to make mention of that, brother, because we know a lot of our brothers, especially our brothers, I want to speak to them for a moment, get the truth, get the teachings inside the penitentiary or in the world outside. Maybe in college, maybe here in the minister, or whatever the case, they come across the teachings. They get introduced to Crow or whatever the case may be. But then they fall back by the wayside. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the consistency. They don't have the desire to continue, like you said, to work on behalf of our God and our people. And they fall off. And I can bear witness to this, brother, because every time I've seen you working, not playing, not partying, not socializing, but working. And that's why I had to have you on this show, brother, because it bears witness to the power of these teachings. That it would take somebody that's in the lowest state and bring them up to such prominence that not only they have the ability to do for self, they have the ability to help and save their people. So, brother,
yes,
I'm indebted to you for your service and your servitude to this great work, because we're all in this vineyard.
Let me say this, because you spoke about those that have it and come out and go the other way. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to tell you why that happened. The Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said, and this has stuck in my head, I always say that. He said before anybody knew him, he became rooted first. So what I learned from that is this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if you want to solve a problem, you go to the root of it. The first thing that I learned that's instilled in my brain is this. I had to become rooted first in the teaching. That way, when you're rooted, you don't come out of prison with it. See, I didn't come out of prison with religion. I didn't come out out of prison with just a new system. I came out of prison with an understanding of who I was, who God was, and who God's man was. That's important. And when you're rooted in that, nothing that comes against you can shake you. All of the things that I went through in prison, if it didn't shake me in hell, how you gonna shake me out in the society? It's impossible. And I've been through hell. But I'm rooted in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's why I'm thankful to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Because if it wasn't for him, I would be in the streets doing nothing. But today I have a reason to do something, and I have something to give back to the community. And that is what? A knowledge, like this show say, a knowledge of self. A knowledge of the reality of God. God is not a spirit or a spook flying around somewhere. When you're looking at the black man, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, you're looking at God. So if I'm looking at God, then I got to treat him like a God. I got to love him like a God. I got to take care of him like a God. I got to serve him like a God. And when you do that, man, you just serving yourself. That's all. So those brothers that come out and go on to do something else, they wasn't rooted in the first place. They were using Islam or Christianity. They do it all the time. But they're using those things to shield themselves from the gangs and the organizations while they're in prison. But when you become rooted, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about going somewhere else. My faith is unshakable, because I know who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is. Not I believe who he is. I know who he is because the Bible talks about Elijah. It don't say Jesus. It says Elijah.
Teach.
It says, the Bible says, it says, they say he calls for Elijah.
Teach, brother.
Who is Elijah? That Jesus is calling for Elijah. Then in the book of Malachi, it says, I will send Elijah. That's powerful, man. So we can ignore him if you want to, but you're going to pay a price when you ignore God's man. You're going to pay a price. And many of our children are paying a price with their life because they're rejecting the man that God has given them today in our midst. They're rejecting him. And when you look at the minister, you're looking at a reflection of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's minister. He represents the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the minister is pointing us to who? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Teach.
That's what the minister say. I've never seen him out of roster and say, well, it's me. I am a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what he always said. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the eternal leader of the nation of Islam. And until we understand that that is the messenger of Allah and bring that to the knowledge of our people, we have to teach our people their history. We got to. Because if we don't teach them their history, then they're doomed to perish.
We're talking again, my listening audience, my brothers and sisters, to Brother Lionel Muhammad. As you can hear, strength personified, integrity personified, consistency personified. Brother, I'm so elated to have you here, brother. As we get to wrap up, and because I could talk to you all day, brother, and I don't want to, hold too much of your time, but I am going to have you back, know that for sure, because there's so much you have to give our people. But if you had to leave, I got two questions, but the first question, if you had to leave our people with something about your experience, about how a lot of our brothers and sisters are not even thought of, those who are serving time in prison or incarcerated, what would you say to them, and the significance of not leaving them behind and not thinking them as just some criminals who got what they deserve?
Well, I would leave them with this. I don't care what somebody has done. Almighty God, out of his mercy, took a murderer, Moses, and made a prophet out of him. If you take your time sitting on the couch doing nothing, and you have a loved one, family, friend, or an associate that's incarcerated, you don't have to leave your home, your office, or your organization or anything. Write them a letter. If you're not a writer, send them some material that they can use to elevate themselves from the condition that they're in to a condition that will better them on their return. So I leave you with that. I don't care what they've done. I don't care what their circumstances is. We can all send a letter. A letter is what, 55 cents? A postcard, a newspaper. If you can't send a newspaper, buy and purchase a book and send it to them. That shows them that you care. And Jesus said it like this. He says, what greater love than to lay your life down for your brother or your friend? And your loved ones are going to return one day to society. And they're going to think about all the things that you did or didn't do. And if you couldn't write a letter, I want you to understand, you create a sense of bitterness in them. They may not say it, but I'm telling you from experience, a letter to a prisoner is like gold to one of the drug addicts out here on the street that'll take it to the pawn shop. That's how valuable a letter is to a brother or a sister that's incarcerated. So I leave you with that. If you got somebody incarcerated, write them a letter. And if you're not a writer, find some material. Get a final call. Go to the brothers out on the street, get a final call, go to Crow, get some information, and just send them some material. We have an archives full of material. Go get that material and send it to them so that they can read it. Message to the Black Man, Fall of America, How to Eat to Live, 1 and 2. Our Savior has arrived. Just get these books and send them to them. May Allah bless you and may Allah keep you in His care.
Thank you so much, brother. Before I let you go, real briefly, anything you got coming up that my audience needs to be made abreast to?
Well, I don't have anything personally coming up right now, but I will keep you posted. What we have coming up right now is we have Savior's Day.
Teach. That's what I was waiting for. Go ahead, brother.
We do have Savior's Day in Detroit. Now, there may be some people say, man, I don't want to travel all that way. But we have a bus that if you can just afford the expenses of getting on the bus and going there, they're coming back that same day, it's the tickets are $20. Now, if you can get on the bus, then we'll buy the ticket for you. We'll pay for the ticket. If you just pay for the bus to get there, we'll pay for the ticket. And you can call the mosque and make those arrangements with Sister Judith and just come on out, man, and support the Savior's Day. And then also we have coming up as well, we have Founders Day.
Teach, brother.
Coming up that you need to be aware of. See, we need to be aware of where the information is that we need. All of the archives of the Nation of Islam is at Crow.
Go ahead,
That's where you want to find the archives of the Nation of Islam. So when you want to know our history, go ahead and get a membership there. And get involved. Say, man, I got to come, but get a membership. And if you can't come, just support. Send $5, $2, $10, whatever. Because you get to these folks every day in the street, to the wine man, and to the dope man, and to the cigarette man, and to the reefer man, and they got the reefer dispensaries. We have a dispensary as well. It's called Crow.
Teach.
And you can get anything that you need from that dispensary. You don't just get one thing, you get everything right there at the dispensary.
I bear witness to it, brother. I bear witness to it.
Yes, sir, brother.
Man, thank you again.
I thank you, brother, and I thank your listening audience, man. And I'm always available for you, man. I'm always available to serve the people. And anybody that is interested in contacting me or even setting up how to write people, they can always contact me, man. They can contact me at 7351 Stony Island at the mosque. They can find me through Crow. You know, I'm available, right? I'm not hidden, so you got access to me, and we can do what we need to do. Especially, we cannot forget the brothers and sisters that's locked up.
Teach.
That's the second part of our family. We cannot forget them. I can't reiterate enough. We cannot forget those that are incarcerated. That's our family.
And there you go, brothers and sisters. You heard it from my powerful, powerful brother. And I thank you again, sir, for again allowing me this opportunity to just conversate with you, to be able to go back and forth about something we both love more than life, and that is bringing truth and power to our people through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I thank you again, my listening audience, for your time, for your participation, for your ear, because you could have been doing anything else, but you decided to take this time out to listen to us bear witness to a truth that we know will save your lives. And if you feel you're doing good, it's going to improve your life. You hear what I'm saying?
That's right.
So it's always can get better. So I thank you again for listening as I leave you, as I greeted you, in the words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.